Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Imagine believing you are about to become a father, only to discover it was all a lie. That's exactly the devastating truth that explodes between Bill and Haley in one of the most emotional confrontations Beyond the Gates has delivered yet. A tense conversation between Bill and Haley turns into a heartbreaking explosion of anger and betrayal when Bill learns that the pregnancy Haley had been claiming for weeks was completely fabricated. What follows is a painful confrontation where trust shatters, emotions boil over, and their entire relationship hangs by a thread. Alright, let's talk about this moment because it's easily one of the most emotionally intense scenes unfolding in Beyond the Gates. If you have been following the storyline, you already know that tension has been building between Bill and Haley for quite some time. Suspicion, awkward conversations, and subtly hints that something wasn't quite right have been floating around for weeks. But nothing could truly prepare viewers for the emotional explosion that finally happens when the truth comes out. The scene begins with Bill walking into the room carrying a heavy cloud of doubt. For a while now, something about Haley's pregnancy story has been bothering him. Maybe it was the inconsistencies in what she said. Maybe it was the strange timing of certain events. Or maybe it was just the instinct deep inside him telling him that something didn't add up. Whatever the reason, Bill enters the conversation already tense, already searching for answers. Haley, on the other hand, is trying desperately to keep her composure. She knows the situation is fragile. The atmosphere between them feels tight, almost suffocating, like the room itself can feel the pressure building. Bill doesn't start the conversation by yelling or accusing. Instead, his voice is controlled, but it carries a sharp edge of pain and suspicion as he asks her to finally tell him the truth. At first, Haley tries to hold on to the story she has been maintaining for weeks, but the tension is overwhelming, and it becomes clear that the truth is about to break through no matter how hard she tries to hold it back. And then it happens. The truth finally comes out. Haley isn't pregnant. The moment those words are spoken, something inside Bill completely snaps. All the restraint he had been holding onto disappears instantly. His anger erupts in a single devastating sentence that cuts through the room like lightning. You lied to me. Those words carry far more weight than just the pregnancy itself. They represent every moment of deception that led up to this confrontation. Every conversation, every promise, every time Haley allowed him to believe something that simply wasn't real. Haley immediately tries to defend herself. She insists that things spiral out of control and that she never intended for the lie to grow this big. She claims she didn't plan for it to go this far, that it started as something small that quickly became impossible to manage. But Bill isn't ready to hear any of that. His disbelief quickly turns into raw anger. From his perspective, this wasn't just a small mistake or a misunderstanding. This was a calculated betrayal that played with some of the most important emotions a person can experience. For weeks, Bill believed he was going to become a father. He had allowed himself to imagine what that future would look like. He pictured holding his child for the first time. He thought about preparing a home, building a family, and stepping into a new chapter of responsibility and love. All of those dreams were real to him, and now he realizes that every single one of them was built on a lie. As the argument escalates, Bill's frustration depends into something even more painful. Beneath the anger is heartbreak. The women he trusted most manipulated him in a way that strikes at the core of who he is. Haley continues trying to explain herself. She admits that she panicked. She says that at some point, the lie simply felt easier than telling the truth. According to her, everything spiraled so quickly that she couldn't find a way to stop it. But Bill sees the situation very differently. To him, this wasn't about panic or confusion. In his mind, Haley deliberately used the pregnancy story to control the relationship. He accuses her of trying to keep him close, of manipulating his decisions, and of trapping him emotionally with the idea of a child. His question grows sharper and more painful. He demands to know how long she planned to keep pretending. Was she hoping the truth would never come out? Was she planning to eventually fake a miscarriage? Or did she simply believe that if he stayed long enough, the lie wouldn't matter anymore? Haley struggles to respond because deep down, she understands that there's no explanation strong enough to erase the damage that's already been done. Her voice begins trembling as she tries to tell him that she never wanted to hurt him. She admits that she was terrified of losing him. She believed that if she told him the truth from the beginning, he would leave. But that confession only makes Bill angrier, because in his mind, that fear has now guaranteed the exact outcome she was trying to avoid. The trust between them has been shattered completely. Bill begins pacing around the room, running his hands through his hair as frustration overwhelms him. In his mind, every memory from the past few weeks now feels contaminated by deception. The doctor visits, the serious conversations about preparing for the baby, the moments when he thought he was supporting the mother of his child. Every single one of those memories now feels like part of a carefully constructed performance. When Bill finally stops pacing and turns back toward Haley, the expression on his face says everything. It's not just anger anymore, it's disappointment. He tells her that what she did wasn't just dishonest, it was cruel. She allowed him to emotionally bond with a future that didn't exist. She allowed him to feel hope for something sacred and life changing. Hearing those words finally breaks Haley's composure completely. Her defenses collapse and tears begin pouring down her face. She confesses that the lie started as a desperate attempt to save their relationship. At a moment when she felt everything slipping away, she thought that if Bill believed they were expecting a child together, he would stay with her. But maintaining the lie became harder every single day. The story grew more complicated. The fear of being exposed never left her mind. She lived in constant anxiety, knowing the truth could come out at any moment. Even so, Bill remains unmoved by her explanations. From his point of view, fear does not justify the emotional damage she caused. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and she completely destroyed that foundation with her actions. The argument reaches its most emotional moment when Bill finally reveals just how deeply this lie affected him. His voice cracks as he talks about the moment he first heard the news that he was going to be a father. It had been one of the happiest moments of his life. That news changed the way he thought about his future. It made him reconsider his priorities and responsibilities. He embraced the idea of becoming a father with his whole heart. And now he feels humiliated. He feels foolish for believing something that wasn't real. The pain in his voice is so powerful that the room falls silent. Even Haley seems stunned by how deeply she hurt him. For a moment, neither of them speaks. The silence between them carries the weight of everything that has just been revealed. Finally, Bill breaks that silence with a final statement that hits like a hammer. He tells her that he cannot forgive her. Not right now. The betrayal is simply too fresh and too painful. Haley desperately begs him to reconsider. She insists that she still loves him and that she's willing to do anything to fix what she broke. But Bill shakes his head. Love, he says, isn't enough to erase what happened. Then he walks toward the door. Haley calls after him, begging him not to leave. But Bill doesn't stop. He doesn't turn around, and the emotional distance between them feels larger than ever. Both of them are left devastated, forced to confront the consequences of a lie that can never truly be undone. This moment is more than just a dramatic argument, it's a turning point for both characters. Bill now has to deal with the emotional aftermath of believing in a future that never existed. His trust has been shattered, and rebuilding that trust will be incredibly difficult, if not impossible. Meanwhile, Haley must face the consequences of a decision driven by fear and desperation. Her lie will likely ripple through friendships, family connections, and alliances throughout the story. Some characters might sympathize with her fear of abandonment, while others will see her actions as unforgivable manipulation. Either way, this revelation will affect far more than just the two people standing in that room. Honestly, this storyline is incredibly powerful because it feels painfully real. The anger, the heartbreak, and the regret all come from very human emotions. Bill's reaction makes complete sense because anyone would feel devastated after believing they were about to become a parent. At the same time, Haley's actions highlight how fear and insecurity can push people to make terrible decisions that spiral out of control. It's messy, uncomfortable, and emotional, and that's exactly why it's such compelling storytelling. So now the big question is there any possible way Bill could ever forgive Haley after a lie this massive? Or has this betrayal permanently destroyed their relationship? And if you were in Bill's position, would you walk away for good? Or would you try to give Haley another chance? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments because this is one storytelling that's definitely going to divide opinions. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of the latest Beyond the Gates drama, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the biggest twists and shocking moments coming next.